Peace, quickly, think fast. The paradox and the irony of being an empath, I say being an empath or being somebody sensitive to energy, is the fact that, say for instance, when we think about standing up to people and setting boundaries, you know, it does spiritually liberate us and it does feel good, but in the moment of us having to stand up for ourselves, yes, it's gonna in essence not feel good. So say for instance the irony of like here it is where you don't set boundaries and then people kind of run over your energetic boundaries and kind of vamp you because you're not setting boundaries. But then when you set a boundary, setting a boundary comes with that uncomfortable feeling of you feeling the person feeling uncomfortable with what you just said. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of us who sensitive to energy, reason why we're scared to, speak up on certain situations, or why we just don't want to. In essence, is because we don't want to feel the energy from that other person when we correct the situation. So when we tell them, hey, I don't do this, they gonna feel some kind of way. But this is the thing, the irony of the paradox of the situation is, you gotta speak up and you gotta feel that awkwardness. So say for instance, like somebody like, oh man, man, you like my new rap song, this and that, and because you're, empathetic, you don't want to keep it real and let them know like, hey, that song is whack, or hey, I'm not feeling that song. Like, instead, you're gonna mess up your own energetic boundaries by being inauthentic and telling that person, anything just to be nice, and it's like, nah, you gotta strengthen up and you gotta tell them the truth. Like, you know what, I really wasn't feeling it. And of course, when you do that, it's gonna be awkward, maybe quiet, and sometimes that awkwardness, it's like you would rather transition than deal with that awkwardness. But after you deal with that awkwardness and keeping it real with that person at one time, you have now created a new loop, where now that person is no longer gonna, attempt to cross that boundary, you know what I'm saying? So now you don't have to worry about those situations anymore. So even though, it may be a little difficult to speak up in those moments, you'll liberate yourself, you know, from here on out, when you stand up to that one situation, you create that loop compared to where, oh man, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, or I don't want to speak up on a situation. And since you don't, you send an indirect message or a direct message to the universe like, hey, keep it coming. Like, I'm not going to stand up to it. So, keep the energy vamp, keep the covert narcissist coming, keep all of it coming, because I'm not gonna stand up to it because I'm too scared to feel that little awkwardness, that little awkward moment of keeping it real with people or standing up for my boundaries. I rather not feel that awkward energy, for that little moment. That's basically what we saying and what we going through when we do that. So again, go through that that little awkward moment. Sometimes it feel like it'll last forever. Sometimes I know I done been through, those moments where you just keep it so authentic that it's just like crickets. It's like, damn, that was extremely straightforward. Well, it is what it is. Those little crickets and that vibe. It's gonna kind of make you want to cringe a little bit, but it's all right. After that, start thinking about how liberated you're going to feel from that moment on, you know what I'm saying, and how you're no longer going to attract that certain energy because you set that boundary. And setting a boundary, even though it seems like you just set a boundary with a person, a person is a reflection of what's going on inside yourself. So by setting a boundary with a person, you setting a boundary, within your inner universe, like, hey, inner universe, we're not dealing with this energy no more. So the outer universe responds by not sending you that energy no more, you know what I'm saying? Because you stood up to it, you set that boundary, so no longer will it, bother you in the physical realm because you took care of it, internally. You just by standing up to the energy, in essence, you stood up to it on a physical, in a physical aspect, in essence, but it's internal work by just standing up to something and saying like, hey, no, this is how I authentically feel. So sometimes we gotta deal with that little, that little awkward moment, that little, strenuous moment of awkwardness when we keeping it real and stuff like that. But in order to make sure our energy is taken care of from from that point on, we gotta stand up for a lot of these situations and stop being a yes man or a people pleaser, yes woman or yes man, however. But again, I'm speaking because that I came from that vibration of dealing with the people pleasing vibe. And even though it kind of feels like you under the illusion of that, it feels good, like, hey, I'm not fussing with this person, like, say for instance, by letting a person do something, even though you may disagree with it, you under the illusion, well, hey, no confrontation, so, but at the same time, even though there's no confrontation, all these things that again, that you don't you want to deal with, it's still in essence throwing off your energy. So a confrontation would be less energy vamping than you not being confrontation. By you not being confrontational, you getting vamped just as much as if you got into a confrontation. So why not share with speak on how you really feel, because honestly, the confrontation only be caused too by you being in your ego or being disconnected by keeping it real. But if you keep it real in a manner where being humble, speaking from a place of reverence, not being disrespectful, like, hey, this is how I feel, this is why I'm at with it, it won't be no confrontation. And if it does start confrontation, that you don't even need to deal with that person anymore, what I'm saying, on that level. But it is what it is. But that's basically it. Just want to say, so what if it's awkward? So what if it hurt? We gotta keep it real in these situations. Now is the vibrate. The longer we wait to start keeping it real, the longer we letting the lies and the excuses and all this inner junk continuously live inside of us, in essence, which turns into it continuously living outside of us. So it's like checking the situation right now. But peace. Happy now. Now it's a vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, what's going on in this moment? In this moment, right now, what's going on? Not what's going on in your thoughts. What's going on in this moment? What are you doing in this moment? Be present in your moment, not in your thoughts. Your thoughts will have you way yesterday or way 3 months from here. Be now. What you doing right now?